Hiya, I'm Dot. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my TBR for the Clear Your Shit Readathon and the Ldr Readathon. So the Clear Your Shit Readathon was created by Mouse and Art. I will leave the announcement video down below for it. It is a chance to clear your shit or clear your TBR over the months of November and December. There are 24 prompts over the 2 months, and I'll be going through each of them today and each book that I will be using for them. I will go over the Ldr Readathon afterwards, as there's only 5 prompts and I'm using books from the Clear Your Shit Readathon, so I'll go through that afterwards. The first prompt is a book where someone dies. I've chosen Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I don't think I really need to say anything about this book. Obviously there is death in it, and it follows lesbian necromancers, so you don't need to say anything more for me to pick up this book and read it. I've heard such good things about it. I'm very excited to read it. I don't know why it's taken me so long to read it, but I thought that this readathon was a good chance to put it on. The next prompt is a book where people go on a journey. I've chosen Aurora's End by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I won't go over the synopsis of the third book, as it does cover just a few spoilers from the first 2 books, so we'll kind of just skip over that. The third prompt is a book that was recommended to you, and I'm going to be reading Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Yeah, believe it or not, I haven't read this and I haven't seen the film before, so I'll just read the synopsis on the back because it sums it up pretty perfectly and sounds right up my alley. Intense is the world for Ender's Game. Aliens have attacked Earth twice and almost destroyed the human species. To make sure humans win the next encounter, the world government has taken to breeding military geniuses and then training them in the arts of war. The early training, not surprisingly, takes the form of games. Ender Wiggin is a genius among geniuses. He wins all the games. He is smart enough to know that time is running out, but is he smart enough to save the planet? So, yeah, when my friend, when I told them that I like sci-fi, they immediately recommended this. They said it was 10 out of 10, and it does sound very much like I would enjoy it. The next prompt is a book that people talk a lot about, and I'm going to be doing From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is a romance, a smutty romance, that I'm actually really excited to read. I'm not huge on romances, but I've just kind of had a kind of hankering to read them lately. But this follows a girl named Poppy who falls in love with her personal bodyguard, I believe. I don't know much about it actually, so that's like the main basis that I know. And I'm kind of calling November Naughty November, and I'm going to include this one in there with another smutty book that isn't on this TBR. The next prompt is your shortest book, and I'm going to be doing The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. This is 300 pages though, so it's kind of actually long. This is not including any of my non-fiction books. This is the shortest book that I have. So this follows an apothecary that sells poisons to women who want to seek revenge on men who have done wrong in their life. It follows 2 women's perspective over 2 different timelines, which I'm pretty excited about because I enjoy books that have different perspectives. So yeah, excited for this one. The next prompt is steal a book from somebody else's TBR, and I've stolen this from a few people's TBR, and to be honest, it was already on my TBR, but you know, I had to fit it in somehow, and that is Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. So this follows Jane McKean. She was born 2 days before the dead began the battlefields of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, derailing the war between the states and changing the nation forever. In this new America, however, the battle for survival is as political as it is personal, and the restless dead, it would seem, are the least of her problems. So I like a kind of historical fiction with a bit of a spin on it. And I am doing this as a buddy read with a few people from the book Discord. The next prompt is a book with gold, silver, or bronze on the cover, and I'm going to be doing From Blood and Ash. As you can see, the text is kind of silvery, and there is also swords on the front that are a bit silver as well. The next prompt is your smallest book, which again is The Lost Apothecary. It's the shortest amount of pages. It could have been physically small or the shortest audiobook. I've chosen to go with the shortest amount of pages just so I can double up on prompts on this readathon. The next prompt is a spooky book, and I'm going to be doing They Never Learn by Fargo. I'll read the synopsis out for this one. Scarlett Clark is an exceptional English professor, but she's even better at getting away with murder. Every year she searches for the worst man at Gorman University and plots his well-deserved demise. Thanks to her meticulous planning, she's avoided drawing attention to herself. But as she's preparing for her biggest kill yet, the school starts probing into the growing body count on campus. Determined to keep her enemies close, Scarlett insinuates herself into the investigation and charms the woman in charge, Dr. Mina Pierce. Everything's going according to her master plan until she loses control of her latest victim, putting her secret life at risk of exposure. Meanwhile, Gorman student Carly Schiller is just trying to survive her freshman year. Finally free of her emotionally abusive father, all Carly wants is to focus on her studies and fade into the background. Her new roommate has other ideas. Alison Headley is cool and confident, everything Carly wishes she could be, and the two girls quickly form an intense friendship. So when Alison is sexually assaulted at a party, Carly becomes obsessed with making the attacker pay and turning her fantasies about revenge into a reality. So obviously some trigger warnings there of abuse and sexual assault, so just be mindful if you are going into that book that they are present. But yes, I'm also reading that as a buddy read in the book Discord with a few other people, a little bit about halfway through the month that we're going to be starting that one. The next prompt is a book with an animal, and I've chosen Lithium Girls by Kate Pentecost. As you can see, there is a steampunk horse on the cover, which I believe is present in the story. I'm not 100% certain on that, but I would like to think 99% certain that something that's on the cover is in the book. So this takes place in Elysium, Oklahoma. It is a town like any other, respectable, God-fearing, praying for an end to the drought and the dust storms. Until the day the dust soldiers arrive, until the people of Elysium learn it's all a lie. You see, there isn't only one God, there are two sisters, life and death, and the sisters like to gamble against each other with things like time and space and human lives. Elysium is to become the playboard in a ruthless game between the goddesses. The dust soldiers will return in 10 years' time, and if the people of Elysium have not proved themselves worthy, all will be slain. So as I've mentioned before, I've spoken about this book in a previous video. This is kind of fantasy steampunky. Again, right up my alley. Very excited to dive into it. The next prompt is a mystery prompt that will be released during the readathon, so we do not know what it is until the week that it is released. So hopefully I can tie any of the books that I already have into that prompt. The next prompt is a free book space, so I'm just using one of the books that I already have on the list to catch up on reading. The next prompt is a fantasy book, and I'm going to be doing, again, The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. Definitely keen on doubling up on as many prompts in this readathon. And again, the next prompt is a book with a purple cover, and you guessed it, it's The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. And third time's a charm, the next prompt is a book with a character that is female or non-binary, and I have chosen The Lost Apothecary. It does have two female main characters. The next prompt is an intimidating book, and I've chosen They Never Learn by Jane Fargo. It's intimidating to me as it is a thriller, and I don't normally read thrillers, so that's kind of a little intimidating to me, especially the core themes that are present in it with the abuse and sexual assault is quite kind of moving and intimidating for me to read. But I am intrigued to read it for sure. The next prompt is another mystery prompt, so we do not know what it is. And then the prompt after that is another free book space, so I'm using the books that I already have on my TBR to catch up on some reading. The next prompt is a book that you forgot you owned or do not remember the details of, and I've chosen Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I have read this before and pretty much forgot everything that happens in it. I do know that it follows 4 different people in 3 different kingdoms. Excuse me. Hi. Who are fighting for power over the kingdoms. So that's all I know. I'm probably going to do the audiobook for this, just so I can speed through it. I do remember enjoying it though, so I'm definitely excited to read it again and then hopefully continue on with the series, because there is a few more other books in the series. The next prompt is a book with water themes or elements, and I have chosen Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. This does feature magic in it, Elementia, so fits right in with this prompt. I can read I'll read the synopsis so that you get an understanding of how elements fit in. Witches, if found, are put to death, and watchers, immortal beings who take the shape of hawks to visit the human world, have been almost entirely forgotten. A vicious power struggle quickly escalates to war, and 4 young people collide against one another and the rise of Elementia, the magic that can topple kingdoms and crown a ruler in the same day. So yes, it definitely involves magic and the elements, and very excited for it. The next prompt is a book with a group cast that is 3 or more characters, and I've chosen Aurora's End by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This book does follow the squad of 312, which is about 6 different people, so it definitely fits into this prompt. And as I mentioned, I will not be going over the synopsis as it does reveal some spoilers. The next prompt is a free book space, so I am using the books that I already have on my TBR to catch up with some reading. The next prompt is read an opulent book, which is a fancy cover, and I have chosen Leviathan Wakes, as I have this gorgeous 10th anniversary edition cover here. I couldn't say no to it, and plus I need to read this book desperately. I'll read the synopsis for you. Humanity has colonized the solar system, Mars and the moon, the asteroid belt, and beyond, but the stars are still out of our reach. Jim Holden is XO of an ice miner making runs from the rings of Saturn to the mining stations of the belt, when he and his crew stumble upon a derelict ship, the Scopuli. They find themselves in possession of a secret they never wanted, a secret that someone is willing to kill for, and kill on a scale unfathomable to Jim and his crew. War is brewing in the system unless he can find who is left, the ship, and why. Detective Miller is looking for a girl, one girl in a system of billions. But her parents have money, and money talks. When the trail leads him to the Scopuli and the rebel sympathizer Holden, he realizes that this girl may be the key to everything. Holden and Miller must thread the needle between the Earth government, the outer planet revolutionaries, and secret corporations, and the odds are against them. But out in the belt, the rules are different, and one small ship can change the fate of the universe. So, another sci-fi book that I'm very excited to read. Most are right up my alley, so... And the final prompt is a boss battle mystery prompt, and we do not know what it is until it is released during the readathon. So that is my TBR for the Clear Your Shit readathon. Very excited for it, because I'm very excited to get through some of these books that have been sitting on my shelf for a while. The next readathon that I'm going to be taking part in is the LDR Readathon, which is the Long Distance Relationship Readathon, which is hosted by Chloe. I will leave her announcement video down below. She is in a long distance relationship with her boyfriend who lives in the US and she lives in the UK. And the fact that I was in a long distance relationship with my husband, I thought that it was a perfect readathon to take part in. So the first prompt is FaceTime to read a book that was recommended to you. And I've chosen Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. I've already gone over this. The next prompt is Miles, read a book that is set in a different country, and I've chosen The Lost Apothecary. This is set in the UK, in London. The next prompt is Reunion, which is a 5-star prediction. I've chosen Gideon the Ninth. Very excited and very hopeful of this to be a 5-star for me. The next prompt is Airmail, to read a book that was gifted to you, and again, The Lost Apothecary has been chosen. This was gifted to me by my husband, so thank you. And then the final prompt is travel bans, read a comfort read. And that for me is Twilight. I probably don't need to explain anything about this book, but it is, it's a human who falls in love with a vampire. Y'all know the drill, like, it doesn't need to be spoken about. But this is a huge comfort read for me. If I'm in a reading slump, this is my go-to and it gets me right out of a reading slump. So, sorry not sorry. So they are my 2 TBRs for November. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did like it, then please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you see the next video. If you are interested in discussing any of these books or more with me, then feel free to join the Discord. It is linked below. Like I mentioned, I have linked down below the announcement videos for these 2 readathons, so if you are interested, then please watch them and support those booktubers. I will see you in the next video. Bye!